Today we're going to be learning about LinkedIn newsletters. This presentation is going to be specifically for business owners, especially if you have not yet launched your LinkedIn newsletter or have no idea what I'm even talking about yet. So let's start. These are the 5 benefits, especially if you are a business owner, when it comes to LinkedIn newsletters. The 5 reasons that you should actually launch a LinkedIn newsletter and why you will benefit from doing so. So the 5th reason is really to segment your audience. On LinkedIn, you could have built a network over the years, maybe networking in person, maybe you had a different business and now your audience is someone else because you're starting another business. Whatever the situation is, a LinkedIn newsletter allows you to get a certain percentage of your audience that's interested in the thing that you are currently focusing on to raise their hand and say, I want to learn more about this, or I'm interested in this. For example, if I had a business in education and now I have a tech business and it's not in education, the title of my newsletter could be so specific that anyone that is not interested in that topic in my network would not subscribe. So what people don't realize is that the topic and title of your LinkedIn newsletter is so critical, because if it's general, a large percentage of your network will subscribe. If it's very, very niche, very, very specific, then only a certain percentage of your audience will subscribe, which is the audience that is actually interested in what you are doing now. So the first mistake that I see business owners make is that the title of their newsletters are too general, too generic, and too for the masses if what they're trying to achieve on LinkedIn is conversion. I'll use myself as an example. I have multiple LinkedIn newsletters, and I have one called Personal Development. If you are not interested in personal development, why would you subscribe to that newsletter? See what I'm saying? If I wanted to launch a carpentry business tomorrow, I could put carpentry hobby lovers. If you would not be interested in carpentry, why would you subscribe? So the more specific, the more niche, the better for your title of your newsletter. And you only have 30 characters. So just do with that what you may. Once someone subscribes, you will be able to see them on the list. What does this tell you? This means that number 1, they are active on LinkedIn. This is a huge, huge thing because most of the viewers or the impressions that you get on LinkedIn, they will not necessarily engage with your content. And this is something that differentiates LinkedIn from a lot of the other social media platforms, is that people can get frustrated because they may not be getting a lot of likes. They may not be getting a lot of comments or a lot of shares, but they see that people are viewing their content. They're getting the impressions. They just can't identify who those people are. So a way to kind of identify the people that are active and interested in whatever it is that you're trying to sell or whatever problem you're trying to solve is by making your title so clear and specific. When someone subscribes, it proves that they were active. You'd be surprised. When we launch newsletters with our clients, the first few people that they say they see on their subscriber list, sometimes they don't believe it because that may be a prospect that has ghosted them. That may be somebody that they would never think would be viewing or seeing or lurking in the shadows of their content because they're a high-level leader, like a C-level leader, and they're just surprised that this person within such a short amount of time has not only subscribed, but is actually maybe even liking their newsletter. This is critical because the people that subscribe will get to the second point, will start to get your articles as emails. So to backtrack a little bit, a LinkedIn newsletter is just a series of articles under one particular topic. And the second benefit of all of this is that the article is not just published on LinkedIn, but it's actually sent to the inbox of people who subscribe. So not only does the newsletter allow you to segment a percentage of your audience, and that segmentation proves that number 1, they're active, number 2, they're interested in this particular topic that is the title of your newsletter, and number 3, that now you're able to reach them via inbox. So reaching people via email is the second benefit of your LinkedIn newsletter, because every single time you publish an article, it's going to post on LinkedIn and then it's going to be sent to every single one of your subscribers' emails on behalf of LinkedIn. The downside is that you don't get your subscribers' emails, but now you're at least able to reach them and you're able to see what percentage of those people open your article as an email in their inbox, as well as read your article as an article on the actual platform within LinkedIn. So for me, when people ask me, well, why should I launch a LinkedIn newsletter? Why wouldn't you want to reach more people in their inbox? As a business owner, wouldn't you want this? We know that based on data, the most profitable online businesses have one thing in common, and that's the consistent growth of their email list. Again, the downside here is that you don't get their emails, but it's at least a starting point for you to reach hundreds or thousands of people this week in their inboxes on behalf of LinkedIn. The power of this cannot be understated, because when you start to build your own email list, there's a lot of security measures, IT measures, deliverability measures that you're going to have to comply with to even get to the top of their inbox. If not, you're going to be marked as spam. But because you're riding on the authority of LinkedIn's brand, LinkedIn's trust, these emails reach the top of the inbox and have a high percentage open rate. So on average, our clients' open rate is 50 to 60%, which means that let's say that you have 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. If you launch your newsletter, all 1,000 followers will be invited to subscribe to that newsletter. Let's just be conservative and say that 10% subscribed. So that's 100 people now on your newsletter. And let's say that you have a 50% open rate, which it would probably be a little bit higher, but we'll be conservative. 50% open rate. That means now 50 people every single week or every single day, depending on the frequency of your newsletter, will now receive your message, your information via their email. And would you be more or less likely to succeed if you are able to reach 50 people directly every week? The answer is more. So why would you not do this is the question. That's the second benefit. The third benefit is that you reach more people on the platform. So like I said, when you launch every single edition, when you create every single edition under your newsletter, people are going to be notified inside of LinkedIn. They're also going to be notified in their inbox if they are subscribed. When they're notified on LinkedIn, it will say, for example, a new edition of Q&A with Shanee is available. It'll show that in the notification. They could click on it and then they could read the actual article. When they do this, they'll be taken to the newsletter on your profile, and I'll show that here very shortly. And then they'll be exposed to a whole library of your newsletters. So this really, what it does is over time, build almost a YouTube-esque, but with newsletters library that proves your thought leadership, that serves as resources and assets for your business that can help people while you literally sleep. And that can help people not just today, but for months or years to come. And I'll show my library for a second here so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So as you can see, here's the newsletter. If someone gets the notification, they may get redirected to the actual newsletter of that day or to my profile, whatever. But when I click this, as you can see, there's like a whole library of newsletters that they can go read, previous resources, and sometimes it actually will show itself in a YouTube library. I'll go to one of my clients, someone that's not me. If I click this, he's gonna have all of his newsletters. And these resources are still working for him and his business while he sleeps. And of course, there's analytics and all of that. So you're basically building up a very valuable library for your personal brand, for your thought leadership, and all of the things. These newsletters can also be repurposed, and we won't get into that today, but just know that you're putting the time to build these assets and that it's going to pay off for you. The next benefit is really being able to reach people off of the platform. So we've gone through benefit 5, 4, 3, and now we're going to benefit number 2, which is being able to reach people on search engines. So when you search something like free LinkedIn challenge, some of our newsletters are towards the top. A lot of our clients are also ranking for certain keywords within their niches. And again, because you're leveraging LinkedIn's domain authority, and because each edition of your newsletter is technically now an article or a blog post on LinkedIn, it is also now searchable through Google, Bing, whatever. So just know that over time, now you're not just reaching people on the platform in their inbox, but also you're able to be found on search engines when people search for certain key terms within your niche. Why? Because you're riding on a huge brand's authority, LinkedIn, which is trusted, especially among these search engines. So if I put like free LinkedIn challenge right here, see that right here, LinkedIn, Shanee Moret, LinkedIn, Shanee Moret. So these go to my newsletters. And then if they like the newsletter, they can go to my profile, or they could go to the top of the newsletter where it shows the entire library of articles and learn more. This is the beautiful thing about LinkedIn and leveraging LinkedIn newsletters, is being able to be searched for and found even outside of LinkedIn long term. That's the other thing to think about. Short term, let's just say that you took that off the table, you could still reach hundreds or thousands of people this week, depending on the size of your network. So worst case scenario, maybe you have 500 followers and you want to launch your newsletter today, and you get 30 to 50 subscribers today. That's still 30 people that you could reach in the inbox every single week starting this week. So why would you not do it? Then long term, if you know how to do a little bit of SEO and search for the right key terms and then create content around that, which we help our clients with, you will be able to not just be found inside of LinkedIn, but outside of LinkedIn, and it'll obviously compound with its benefits. So short term, reach people in the inbox this week. Long term, be found outside of LinkedIn in a few months or a year. And then the biggest benefit is that you could have multiple newsletters, right? So LinkedIn will allow you to launch not just 5 separate LinkedIn newsletters on your personal page, but also 5 separate LinkedIn newsletters on your company page. So let's say that you're a coach/consultant and you have clients that you serve B2B and you have clients that you serve B2C, and the problems that you address with those clients are very different, or it's a completely different business. LinkedIn, again, will allow you to separate those and launch completely different newsletters for each of your different audiences. And why would a B2B company subscribe to the same newsletter as a B2C problem, especially if your titles are correct? You could also do this and segment certain offers or core problems that you help solve within your offers. For example, one of the 2 things that we help our clients with are LinkedIn Live video and LinkedIn newsletters. If I wanted to launch a LinkedIn newsletter that focused on LinkedIn Live video, I would just have to call it that. Why would anyone subscribe to LinkedIn Live video tips if they weren't interested in going live or weren't already going live? And just because they subscribe to one doesn't mean that they can't subscribe to the other or that they have to subscribe to the other. So this segmentation piece is beautiful because they allow more than one. And I know some of you focus on more than one audience or may have multiple businesses, or you may have one business. Like I have a client right now who's focused on one person serving CEOs in her business. But because she has evolved to that point, she feels a little bit guilty to leave everyone else behind. So she can continue to serve the audience that she's not necessarily serving in her business through free content in a separate newsletter. There's so many ways to do this, and there's no one right way. But the beauty is it's like a blank canvas. So how are you going to do it? And if you need help with that, you could always message us, or you could join the challenge. I'll put the link in the description. It starts next Tuesday, and one of the days over the 4 days is going to be specifically focused on creating and strategizing and launching your LinkedIn newsletter if you haven't done so already. God bless you and have a great day. Ciao.